So just the other day, someone actually asked in a private message on the Slack channel, they asked me, they know that I've been working with some positivity stuff, and they asked, how do you deal with the adversity, the stuff that's really bringing you down, that gets to you? How do you deal with that? Because it's not like it doesn't happen. Being positive and having a positivity practice does not stop things from happening that get to me or get me down. A situation has come up recently with my dad for, he's got some health issues that I personally think that he could have avoided by making certain choices. And I was feeling really frustrated by that, and feeling frustrated by someone else's actions or inactions is not the way I want to live my life. So I made this post. It actually took me most of this last week to write, because it's kind of important, but it's really long. It's one of the longest posts I've written. And this heading image is something that I have literally handwritten on a Post-it note in front of my computer. It says, "Nothing can change and I can still be happy." And I don't think I used to be able to say that. It actually really surprised me when I could say that out loud and I could mean it. And I recently learned this phrase when I was listening to a broadcast by Esther Hicks. And I'm going to jump into this, and I recognize that this is going to be woo, and it's going to be a little like fluffy and a little hippy dippy. And I'm okay with that, because if you've met me, this is kind of my vibe. I am relentlessly positive. And there's a reason for it. And it's because it's a practice. So this is a lot of text, and I don't expect anybody to read it, but I am sharing it. The question is, how do you deal with the adversity when things come up? And it's only because I have learned these practices by working with a positivity coach that I actually have a tool to reach for when things get overwhelming. So the law of attraction, have you heard of it? You've heard of the law of attraction, general concept? Yeah, thumbs up. Awesome. Okay, so the law of attraction in its very basic sense is you put out some good vibes and the good vibes come back to you, right? Like, this is where toxic positivity brings us all the time. Just put up positive vibes only, high vibes only. No, 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 no. That's crazy talk. I'm not trying to live on like cloud nine. There is no possible way that we can just be positive all the time. But it matters what you put out there. Now, it's unrealistic, especially, you've met me and you know who I am, like, passionate about helping. It's early career UX designers primarily, but early career like digital technologists. And right now the industry is not exactly friendly. It's not exactly hiring a lot of folks. It's not making people's dreams come true. I'm not seeing the lottery wins and everybody going, "Oh my God, I got my dream job today." Like, that is not what is on my feed. So it's really, really hard to just lean into everything is wonderful. More often you feel that dog cartoon where everything's on fire and it's like everything's fine. That's not quite the level of positivity that I expect everyone to be at or think that they're going to be at. But it matters how you feel. It does matter how you feel. And it matters how you feel right now, because that is for lack of the better word, it's the vibrational energy that you're putting out there it's that internal magnet that brings more positivity back to you. And I know that a few of you, actually, whoever is watching this later is going to go, "This is so dumb," because you haven't tried the actual practice of doing this. Big disclaimer, not a doctor, not a psychiatrist, not anybody that's going to prescribe you anything. This is not a get healthy instantly. This is not going to magically change your mind. There is nothing to this. This is a practice. It is a tool. It is one of the many tools that I have in my toolbox. And let me stop zooming around like a crazy person just to tell you that it is strictly scale of feelings. The article that I've written has done a better job at this, but I will take you through my practice. The scale of feelings, up here at number 1 is joy, knowledge, empowerment, love, clarity. And it goes, just below 1 is freedom and appreciation. Below that is passion, and then enthusiasm, eagerness, and happiness, all the way down. And this is usually, you'll see visuals of this, and it's like big spirals, one spiraling up and then one spiraling down. And the very, very bottom of the scale of feelings is powerlessness. There is no worse feeling in the world than to feel like you cannot do anything to change the circumstances you're in. And there's a lot in between here. So as I'm talking, like scan through these. And if you have the wherewithal while I'm talking at you and looking at the scale of feelings, kind of maybe find out where you are on that scale of feelings. That's the first step. Is we just look at it. It doesn't matter where you are. There is no judgment from you for yourself or from anyone else towards you. This is just a, where am I? So if I'm looking at it right now, I mean, I'm kind of in my zone. This is my coaching hour. This is when I like look forward to hanging out with people and look forward to talking about stuff that I know and I'm excited about. So I'm probably higher up on the scale than maybe other folks could be. But I'll tell you, recently, when I was talking to my positivity coach, when my cat, the love of my life, like, and I laugh because not everybody gets as attached to their pets. So like some people will totally understand and they're going to click with me, and other people are going to think I'm super weird when I say this, and I'm okay with that judgment. I love Bernie. Like I gave birth to him myself. Like that sweet baby angel and I would just stare into each other's eyes. He saw me cry and would kiss my face, and he saw me happy and would kiss my face. What I learned during some of the grief counseling I did was that the reason we bond so much with our pets is because they don't have voices. They can't, like your mom, talk back to you and tell you like, why don't you get a job or whatever? Like your cat's never going to do that. So it's very easy to form this deep relationship because all they have for you is love. So as Bernie was dealing with kidney failure and late stage liver disease and irritable bowel disorder and a heart murmur and hypothyroidism, y'all, I was keeping this cat alive for a lot longer than maybe was totally healthy, I recognize now. But when he was going through this and I knew he was about to pass, I knew I was going to be making this decision as the person who's helping guide this sweet animal through his life experience. I knew I needed to make the decision, and that was hard. I felt powerless about that. I got on the call with my positivity coach, and like he looked at me, he's like, feeling it today. And I'm going to tear up right now. Like I was distraught because it hurts to make bad decisions. It hurts to relate it to people who might be watching this. It hurts to get rejected. It hurts to apply and be really excited for a position, and for them to, within 10 seconds of you sending your application, thank you, we decided to go in another direction. That rejection hurts, and it feels powerless because you can't reply back and say, please just give me a chance. Look at my resume. Okay, fine. Don't look at my resume. It's not super exciting, but I'm capable, I'm smart, I can do this. That powerlessness that you feel, especially during job searching in this industry, in this time that we're in, like a lot of y'all might feel on this lower side of the scale, and it doesn't have to be all the time. Like I guarantee when you come back in an hour, when you've had a good cuddle with your pet, or you've had the most delicious BLT that you've had of the year, you're going to be somewhere in the, ooh, I'm kind of contented. This feels really good. That was a delicious lunch or whatever. It changes from moment to moment. Part of the practice is simply being aware of where you are on the scale of feelings. That is literally the first step towards being a more positive person, is instead of just like wallowing in it and staying in it. And trust me, like I love a good wallow. So I'm there. Part of it is just recognizing and acknowledging. So when I got on the call with my positivity coach, his name's Perry. I'll just refer to him as Perry, just to say, I'm feeling really overwhelmed by this decision. We had this practice. We sat together and I acknowledged like I am feeling powerless and I don't feel like I know what to do with these feelings. And Perry actually helped me get all the way up the scale, and it took probably 30 minutes. So like this is not a instant practice. There is no magic involved in this. What is involved is a choice, and you have to choose. You have to want to be a little bit happier than you are. You do not have to go from, oh my gosh, I'm losing the love of my life, to, oh my gosh, everything's amazing, because those are drugs. That is not reality. But you can go from powerlessness to fear and grief. That's a step that you can choose to take. You can go from fear and grief and depression to insecurity and feeling unworthy. You can also go from, I'm feeling overwhelmed, everything is happening, there's too much going on, there's stuff coming into my inbox all the time, I don't know how to manage it, I'm just feeling crazy. And you could move just slightly better from overwhelmed to I'm feeling frustrated by the number of things people are sending to me that I feel like they could actually handle themselves. You can move from overwhelmed to frustration. And it's easier. It's so much easier than how my dad used to say to me. There's other drama in there, but how my dad used to say, well, just think positive thoughts. Oh, neat. Yeah. If that had been the fix my entire life, we would have had no problems and no arguments ever. Right. So just think positive thoughts isn't helpful. In fact, there's later in this article I mentioned, people say you can do this with gratitude practice or with journaling. Yeah, but that's really vague. It's sometimes helpful, but if I'm feeling powerless and grief right now, then going to journal about how powerless and griefful I feel is not exactly going to help me move better. But this practice of moving up the scale of feelings will. So we're moving up the scale of feelings and we're only choosing to be a tiny bit better, not even happier, just better. So when I was feeling powerless, I'm going to actually go through the scale of feelings as if I was feeling them when I was talking to Perry about Bernie, my cat, because I'm probably not going to get all of the exact phrases that I did. I have it recorded. I'm not going to share it because I was full of tears that day. But this is basically what you do. You choose to move up one step. And if you can only get up one more step, that's okay too. So the instructions are identify where you are and acknowledge it. Say it out loud. Literally, the out loud part works. That's the part that matters, is because that's what you're putting into the universe. Keeping it inside you is somewhat helpful. Putting it outside of you is 10x more powerful. So identify and accept it. Desire to move just a little bit further up. Find a slightly better feeling thought. And I'm going to show you how to do that. It's not just like, I'm feeling grief. That's not it. We say it out loud and then we acknowledge that we feel a little bit better and then we repeat. So in the instance, not too long ago, when I was working through my feelings about Bernie and saying goodbye, I was feeling powerless. I said, I feel powerless about being able to help Bernie. I feel powerless that I can't make him live longer. I feel powerless that his internal organs are failing and it doesn't matter how much medicine I give him. I'm feeling grief because I know I'm going to miss him. Feeling despair because I don't know that I'm ever going to see him again. And I am worried that, or I'm feeling grief because I love him so much and I don't want him to leave me. And I acknowledge that I do feel fear, and fear is a better feeling than powerless. And I want to move up a little bit more. So I'm going to say, I feel guilty. I feel guilty for not checking, not knowing, not taking him to the vet sooner, not getting him on more medications. I feel guilty that maybe I should have paid better attention. I feel guilty that I could have done more to make his life a little bit better. And I acknowledge that. I know that I'm here at the feeling guilty, and guilty feels better than powerless. Guilty feels better than grief and fear and depression. And I want to move up a little bit more. I'm jealous. Oh, I'm so jealous of everybody else whose pet is healthy. I am jealous of all the years that people get with their sweet pets. I only got 4 years with Bernie. I'm jealous that I don't have more time. And jealousy feels better than guilt. I hate that Bernie got irritable bowel disease. I hate that he suffered. I hate that he had internal pain before I noticed. And hate, actually a way better feeling than jealousy. Revenge is a really difficult one for me, but I would like to get revenge on not being able to provide better health care for my cat. I don't know how to activate revenge. So this one I typically tend to skip over often, but I'm going to stay here because feeling like I can get revenge against something definitely feels better than rage. I am angry that the medication wasn't a magic fix. I'm angry that I thought it could be. I'm angry that I don't get more time. Anger feels better than revenge. I feel discouraged. I thought I was going to get a really long time to bond with my cats. I'm discouraged because I had different expectations. I'm discouraged about getting another cat. I feel like that would make me sadder than not having Bernie would be. But I can move up another step. I blame. What do I blame? I feel blame. I feel blame for not picking up on some of Bernie's signals sooner. I feel blame. I blame myself for not making it a priority to get him on medication sooner. I blame myself for not giving him fluids every week. I only did it every few weeks. I blame myself. I think I could have given him a better life at the end. And that feels better than discouragement. I'm going to move up one more step because I want to. And I want to say that I'm worried that Bernie was going to feel pain. In retrospect, I'm really grateful on how we did it because I'm not worried anymore about that. But I was worried that he would feel pain, that he would be sad. I was worried I was going to miss him more than I could bear. And that feels a lot better than blame. Moving up another one to doubt. Doubt myself. I doubt my ability to be a good cat mom. I doubt I'm going to fall in love with another cat the same way. That feels better than worry. Disappointed. I'm so disappointed that this happened at 4 years. We only got him in December of 2019 and they were already about 10. And I thought I had, another 10 years. I'm disappointed that I didn't get more time. I'm going to move up a step and say I'm overwhelmed by the feelings that I have had about anxiety and stress, and if I'm doing the right thing, and if I'm making the decision to say goodbye too soon. Is it too late? Did I do the wrong thing? I've just been feeling overwhelmed by all of the options. Moving up. I'm frustrated. I'm envious. I'm envious of how it felt to bring him into the house for the first time and get to know him and get to know his personality. And I'm envious that I don't get to experience that again. I'm envious of the folks who get to say hello to their kitties when they walk in the house. It's still a better feeling than overwhelmed, that's for sure. Feeling pessimistic is a lot better than frustration. Pessimistic is, well, I just don't think I'm pessimistic about ever finding a cat or even opening my heart to a cat again. That's okay though. Pessimism is definitely better than irritation and envy. Taking it up another step, one more step. I want to move up more. I'm going to say I'm bored. I'm actually kind of bored with these feelings. I'm bored with the anxiety. I'm bored with the constant need for pills. I'm bored with not being able to play with him like I used to. Okay with that. Feels better. Contentment. I'm content with what I got to experience. I'm content with the time that I've gotten. I'm really lucky that I got so much time with Bernie. I'm content with all of the experiences that we had, and I'm content with the decision that I've made. That's a lot better than boredom. I'm hopeful in the future that the cat distribution system will bring me another cat. I am hopeful. It has never happened that they have found me, but I am hopeful that it's going to happen. The cat distribution system will assign me a sweet baby. And that feels really good. That feels better than contentment. And I am optimistic that I do have the capacity to love. I am optimistic that I am going to find the ability to, even if I just adopt like foster cats or adopt something else, like I am optimistic that I'm going to have sweet furry love in my life in the future. I'm going to take it up a step and say, I have the positive expectation that sometime in the next year, I will feel ready to take on a new furry friend. It feels weird to say, but I actually do have the positive expectation that not only will I be open to it, that it's going to happen. I have happiness knowing that Bernie has no more pain. I feel happy that he's doing well. I am happy to say that I have given him a very good life. I will even say that I developed a bit of a passion, taking it up a next step. I developed a bit of a passion for being like a nurse. I have a stethoscope. I give shots to cats. I've done subcutaneous fluids. Like, I'm really good at this. I'm passionate about it. And it made me really happy to compound all his medications myself and make sure that he was well taken care of and try every possible food under the sun. Like, I got really passionate about taking care of this cat. I love it. I'm going to take it up one more step and say, I appreciate the opportunity to develop my own love and the ability to grow and to continue. It feels really good. I have the appreciation for Bernie for coming into my life in the first place. And then I'm going to take it up one more step and say that I feel joy because I know that energy cannot be destroyed and it cannot be created. And oh, there was a great quote someone told me about, like, a physicist needs to speak at your funeral because they will tell your mom that the photons that bounced off of Bernie and into my eyes, into my retinas will never escape. They will always have existed, and Bernie will always be part of my heart. Like, I love him so much. We had his paws pressed into a little piece of clay. I'm really excited about that. But I am joyful, and I know that Bernie is in a good place and he has no pain, and I can still think of him and I can still dream of him and interact with him, and it's going to be totally fine. So I am at the top of the scale of feelings now, and it feels really good. It is a very different experience to go from feeling true powerlessness to feeling joy and empowerment. And I know that this particular example may not resonate with you. The folks who don't have animals or don't really have that kind of bond with stuff, this may not be your thing. I completely understand that. I will go through the scale of feelings again when my dad passes. That is totally normal and expected. He is older and has some health and medical issues, and that is what life does, right? I will go through the scale of feelings. The next time I'm rejected for a talk that I submit to a conference or a job that I apply for in the future, I'm going to go through the scale of feelings because I'm going to feel somewhere down where I don't want to feel, and I want to move myself up into the higher level of the scale of feelings. It's not always possible to get from 24 to 1. Know that. It's totally fine. It's very normal, in fact. But if you can get to contentment, that's great. If we can stay at a level 8 and above, you're living your best life and you're bringing all the best and most positive experiences to you as well. There are direct indications that I have seen that tells me that this practice is helping me grow. It's not always something that I can create a video out of or share how it's impacted, but my partner and I talk about this a lot. Like, my perspective has changed. My ability to recognize, hey, I'm really in a funk right now. I don't want to be in a funk. And instead of staying in that funk and just kind of like kicking rocks and stupid stuff, like slamming doors and whatever, I take the chance to choose to move to the next level of positivity on the scale of feelings, closer to positivity on the scale of feelings. And it's as simple as that. It's complex. It takes effort. It requires you to make a choice. Do you want to feel a little bit better? And that's where I see some folks online not leaning into that. You probably haven't noticed, but I don't post as much on social media anymore because I'm trying not to be on social media. Some folks will really drag you into their realm of not feeling so good. They love not feeling good. They love being angry. They love bitching about stuff. They just love it. Even if they're mad about it and they really seem to hate their experiences, they're still coming over here to tell you about it. They're taking the time to write out the words and how frustrated they are. And who knows how much energy they're pouring into typing those words out. But they're just putting those things that are negative out into the world. And that is just telling the universe, cool, this is more of what you want. Now, I'm not an expert on the law of attraction. I am literally just practicing some of the things. I am learning about how this can fit into my life. So if this works for you, if this feels interesting for you, if you give it a shot, fantastic. This is not a guidance for how to live your life. I'm still working on referring back to, I am practicing applying the scale of feelings in more and more instances in my life. Right now, my goal is to try and check in with it twice a day. But as I asked my positivity coach, when we first started working together, when I first kind of got like a holistic idea of what all we're talking about and what all can be impacted, I stopped and said, Perry, am I going to be one of those insane people on the corner that's just like, everything is amazing? And he's like, yeah, that is essentially what we're going for. And I'm like, I don't know if I trust those people. I don't know if I think those people are sane. And he's like, that's okay, because they're the ones living their best life and you're the one over there judging. So the goal is to stop judging ourselves and to stop even expecting others to understand where we are exactly, and focus solely on how do we feel and do we like how we feel? And if we're not feeling like we like to feel, let's move up the scale of feelings just a little bit.